Welcome everybody to a Circle of the Earth Circle of the Earth Fellowship Roundtable presents Peace Seekers, which right now consists of us reading throughout the Apocryphal, so called, and kind of sharing that with those who haven't read it, or maybe as a refresher to those who have read it for themselves. This is my first time reading it, so shout out to all those first-time listeners or first-time readers along with us. So I'm pretty excited about it. This week it is the Testament of Zebulun. Zebulun. I was so bad at pronouncing these names. Anyways. So I hope y'all are excited. Real quick, a brief, if this is the first time you're catching it, we have a whole bunch of previous episodes. We're going to be reading all 12. So I hope you're excited about that. And what we do is I'm going to read both chapters. This is a 2-chapter testament. And then we're going to give a brief discussion, brief kind of analysis from my side. And then, of course, if anyone wants to join us, link is in the description of the video or the Discord. If on the main page, you look up in the right and it'll have the Discord. So if you want to join, feel more than free and welcome to do so. And yeah, so let's just get into it. I'm going to bring it up and we'll get into it. And make this full screen for everybody. And I bet I can zoom into it just a little bit more to make it that much easier for people to see. I'll have to scroll more, but that should be fine. And earlier I linked in the address for where we are reading right here. This is through Sacred Text. Great resource to check out. They have the Apocrypha. Now there is other things that I wouldn't agree with, but you can research it and kind of see what other religions are talking about and believing, and it's pretty interesting to say the least. But of course, our focus right now is the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, and this is the Testament of Zebulun. Okay, the sixth son of Jacob and Leah. And it says, Zebulun, the sixth son of Jacob and Leah, the inventor and philanthropist, what he learned as a result of the plot against Joseph. So that's kind of a little brief synopsis. I'm going to get a drink of water, and then we will get into it. So 1 second. And I just want to make sure everyone can hear me. Okay, it doesn't look like anyone says, hey, I can't hear you, so I'm assuming we're good. Okay, sweet. Let us get into the reading. All right. The Testament of Zebulun, Chapter 1. The copy of the words of Zebulun, which he enjoined on his sons before he died in the 140th year of his life, 2 years after the death of Joseph. And he said to them, Hearken to me, ye sons of Zebulun, attend to the words of your father. I, Zebulun, was born a good gift to my parents. For when I was born, my father was increased very exceedingly, both in flocks and herds, when with the strackened rods he had his port. Okay, I'm going to read that over, sorry. For when I was born, my father was increased very exceedingly, both in flocks and herds, when with the starkened rods he had his portion. I am not conscious that I have sinned all my days save in thought, nor yet do I remember that I have done any iniquity except the sin of ignorance which I committed against Joseph. For I coveted with my brethren not to tell my father what had been done. But I wept in secret many days on account of Joseph, for I feared my brethren, because they all agreed that if anyone should declare the secret, he should be slain. But when they wished to kill me, I adjured them much with tears not to be guilty of this sin. For Simon and Gad came against Joseph to kill him. And he said unto them with tears, Pity me, my brethren. Have mercy upon the bowels of Jacob our father. Lay not upon me your hands to shed innocent blood, for I have not sinned against you. And if indeed I have sinned, with chastening chastise me, my brethren, but lay not upon me your hand, for the sake of Jacob our father. And as he spoke these words, wailing as he did so, I was unable to bear his lamentations, and began to weep. And my liver was poured out, and all the substance of my bowels was loosened. And I wept with Joseph, and my heart sounded, and the joints of my body trembled, and I was not able to stand. And when Joseph saw me weeping with him, and them coming against him to slay him, he fled behind me, beseeching them. But meanwhile Reuben arose and said, Come, my brethren, let us not slay him, but let us cast him into one of the dry pits, which our father digged and found no water. For this cause the Lord forbade that water should rise up in them, in order that Joseph should be preserved. And they did so, until they sold him to the Ishmaelites. For his price I had no share, my children. But Simon and Gad and 6 other of my brethren took the price of Joseph, and bought sandals for themselves, and their wives, and their children, saying, We will not eat of it, for it is the price of our brother's blood, but we will assuredly tread it under foot, because he said that he would be king over us, and so let us see what will become of his dreams. Therefore it is written in the book of the laws of Moses, that whosoever will not raise up seed to his brother, his sandal should be unloosened, and they should spit in his face. And the brethren of Joseph wished not that their brother should live, and that the Lord loosed from them the sandals which they and the Lord loosened from them the sandals which they wore against Joseph their brother. For when they came into Egypt, they were unloosened by the servants of Joseph outside the gate. And so they made obeisance to Joseph after the fashion of King Pharaoh. And not only did they make obeisance to him, but were spit upon also, falling down before him forthwith, and so they were put to shame before the Egyptians. For after this the Egyptians heard all the evils that they had done to Joseph. And after he was sold, my brothers sat down to eat and drink. But I, through pity for Joseph, did not eat, but watched the pit, since Judah feared lest Simon, Dan, and Gad should rush off and slay him. But when they saw that I did not eat, they sent me to watch him till he was sold to the Ishmaelites. And when Reuben came and heard that while he was away Joseph had been sold, he rent his garments and mourning said, How shall I look on the face of my father Jacob? And he took the money and ran after the merchants, but as he failed to find them, he returned grieving. But the merchants had left the broad road and marched through the troglodytes by a shortcut. But Reuben was grieved and ate no food that day. Dan therefore came to him and said, Weep not, neither grieve, for we have found what we can say to our father Jacob. Let us slay a kid of goats and dip in the coat. Sorry, 1 second. I'm gonna drink a water. Let us slay a kid of the goats, and dip in it the coat of Joseph's. And let us send it to Jacob, saying, No, is this the coat of thy son? And they did so, for they stripped off from Joseph his coat when they were selling him, and put upon him the garment of a slave. Now Simon took the coat, and would not give it up, for he wished to rend it with his sword, as he was angry that Joseph lived, and that he did. And that he, 1 second. As he was angry that Joseph lived, and that he, and that he had not slain him. Then we all rose up and said unto him, If thou givest not up the coat, we will say to our father that thou alone didst this evil thing in Israel. And so he gave it unto them, and they did even as Dan had said. Chapter 2. And now, children, I say, and now, children, I say to keep the commandments. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna drink another drink of water. 1 second. And now, children, I say to keep the commands of the Lord, and to show mercy to your neighbors, and to have compassion towards all, not towards men only, but also towards beasts. For all these things' sake the Lord blessed me. And when all my brethren were sick, I escaped without sickness. For the Lord knoweth the purposes of each. Have therefore compassion in your hearts, my children, because even as a man doeth to his neighbor, even also will the Lord do to him. For the sons of my brethren were sick and die. Okay. For the sons of my brother were sickening and were dying on the account of Joseph, because they showed not mercy in their hearts. But my sons were preserved without sickness, as you know. And when I was in the land of Canaan by the sea coast, I made a catch of fish for Jacob my father. And when many were choked in the sea, I continued unhurt. I was the first to make a boat to sail upon the sea, for the Lord gave me understanding and wisdom therein. And I let down a rudder behind it, and I stretched to sail upon another upright piece of wood in the midst. And I sailed thereon along the shores, catching fish from the house of my father, until we came to Egypt. And through compassion I shared my catch with every stranger. And if a man were a stranger or sick or aged, I boiled the fish and dressed them well, and offered them to all men, as every man had need, grieving with and having compassion upon them. Wherefore also the Lord satisfied me with abundance of fish when catching fish. For he that shareth with his neighbor receiveth manifold more from the Lord. For 5 years I caught fish and gave thereof to every man whom I saw, and I sufficed for all the house of my father. And in the summer I caught fish, and in the winter I kept sheep with my brethren. Now I will declare unto you what I did. I saw a man dressed through nakedness in the wintertime, and had compassion upon him, and stole away a garment secretly from my father's house, and gave it to him who was in distress. Do you therefore, my children, from that which God bestoweth upon you, show compassion and have mercy without hesitation to all men, and give to every man with a good heart. And if ye have not the withal to give to him that needeth, have compassion for him in bowels of mercy. I know that my hand found not the wherewithal to give to him that needed. And I walked with him weeping for 7 furlongs, and my bowels yearned towards him in compassion. Have therefore yourselves also, my children, compassion towards every man with mercy, that the Lord also may have compassion and mercy upon you. Because also in the last days God will send his compassion on the earth, and wheresoever he findeth bowels of mercy, he dwelleth in him. For in the degree in which a man hath compassion upon his neighbor, in the same degree hath the Lord also upon him. And when we went down into Egypt, Joseph bore no malice against us, to whom taking heed do ye also, my children, approve yourself without malice, and love one another, and do not set down in account each one of you evil against his brother. For this breaketh unity, and divideth all kindred, and troubleth the soul, and weareth away the countenance. Observe therefore the waters, and know when they flow together, they sweep along the stones, trees, earth, and other things. But if they are divided into many streams, the earth swalloweth them up, and they vanish away. So shall ye also be if ye be divided. Be not ye therefore divided into 2 heads, for everything which the Lord made hath but one head, and 2 shoulders, 2 hands, 2 feet, and all the remaining members. For I also learned in the writings of my father, that ye shall be divided in Israel, and ye shall follow 2 kings, and shall work every abomination. And your enemies shall lead you captive, and ye shall be evil entreated among the Gentiles, with many infirmities and tribulations. And after these things ye shall remember the Lord and repent, and he shall have mercy upon you, for he is merciful and compassionate. And he setteth not down in account of evil against the sons of men, because they are flesh, and are deceived through their own wicked deeds. And after these things shall there arise unto you the Lord himself, the light of righteousness, and ye shall return unto your land. And ye shall see him in Jerusalem for his name's sake. And again, through the wickedness of your works shall ye promote to him anger, and ye shall be cast away by him unto the time of consummation. And now, my children, grieve not that I am dying, nor be cast down in that I am coming to my end. For I shall arise again in the midst of you, as a ruler in the midst of his sons. And I shall rejoice in the midst of my tribe, as many as shall keep the law of the Lord, and the commandments of Zebulun their father. But upon the ungodly shall the Lord bring eternal fire, and destroy them throughout all generations. But I am now hastening away to my rest, as did also my fathers. But do ye fear the Lord our God with all your strength all the days of your life. And when he had said these things, he fell asleep at a good old age. And his sons laid him in a wooden coffin, And afterwards they carried him up and buried him in Hebron with his fathers. Awesome, guys. That concludes the reading, from this, and for the Testament of Zebulun. Short little chapter there. Lots to really talk about, but we'll keep it brief. So let's jump back to chapter 1. I think something that we've kind of, we saw that thread, and I can kind of switch this up a little bit. 1 second. Hope I'm on the wrong screen. Of course. Let's go this one. This one. Let's actually get out of this version. No, because it's going to show that. Okay, never mind. I will stay small down here. Might as well make it bigger so everyone sees. Okay. Okay, so oh my gosh. Did I just read this? Or did I click something? Did I just read the chat? I swear it said Zebulun. Okay, oh my god, I literally thought I read the wrong one for a second, but I'm like, no, I did. I used his name multiple times. Okay, so I like the backstory that it gives, the extra backstory it gives about kind of Zebulun's perspective on, this the whole event with Joseph, and talking about that thread is, and we've kind of talked about it before in other shows and even with special guests, how there is this, there is this cause and effect, and it's not just physical, it's also spiritual. So you can do physical things that have spiritual implications, and then those can cause spiritual implications that then have physical repercussions, and so on and so forth. And so having that, kind of let and you literally see that here where he's like, not only were my sons spared, but I was spared because of what I was feeling, my intention, my heart at the time that they were deciding, okay, we're going to kill him. No, we can't kill him. We're going to put him in a pit. And, and then, we saw, what's his name? Let me go down and see who it was. Who was mad that they didn't get to kill him. Yeah, and now Simon took the coat and would not give it up, for he wished to rend it with his sword, as he was angry that Joseph lived and he had not slain him. So, like, even Simon's heart. And so then we see that Simon and, their sons have all these other issues that we see creep up into their lives, and it affects them accordingly. And so I think, again, it's a, more, kind of preponderance of evidence showing that, being outside of the Father's commandments has not only spiritual implications in your life, but physical implications in your life as well. And then, of course, this is backed up. He escaped sickness because of his heart. And so the Lord does know our heart. He weighs our heart. He knows why we do the things that we do. And so we can't lie to him. We may be able to lie to others and to ourselves, but we can't lie to him for why we do things. And so, the best thing that you can do is accept where you've made mistakes, steps where you've sinned, and admit that to God. And, I feel like he will give you a way of like, okay, do this. This is what you need to do to really show that, you're apologetic of that action. And of course it depends on the sin, but something like selling your brother into slavery is kind of a big deal. So, yeah, I loved that aspect as well. And then we obviously get his blessing, which is really cool. This is where the ships come from, which is really interesting, right? That we have that kind of a man, God gave him that wisdom of how to sail the seas and how to catch fish. And the fact that he was, even though he had that, those blessings, he shared even with, people outside of his, and would even weep and travel with them, to really understand the people that came across. So beautiful. Okay, let's see here. And, a little prophecy like, hey, I know what y'all are going to do. Y'all are going to get divided. Y'all are going to be following two kings. Y'all are going to, get, your enemies are going to, lead you into captivity. You're going to have issues and tribulations be among the Gentiles. And that 144,000, that's what made me think right here in chapter 2, verse 30. Just all that evil, but we know that, the Lord, our Messiah, he's going to come, he's going to, do that. And it's really interesting also here, the backup of the, where does it say, and he will be cast away by him unto the time of consummation. So, that's that, bringing up the whole shul, the whole, we have the first resurrection, the second resurrection. Very, very interesting. Sweet. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. That's going to be it for tonight. If you liked the reading, if you want to support the channel and see us read more stuff and, break it down, eventually, please thumbs up, please comment, please share it, with people that, you may think be interested in hearing my voice or, just hearing the Testament of 12 Patriarchs. So, that being said, until next time, everybody, have a wonderful evening and, rest of your evening. Also, I hope you had a good start to your week, and I hope it's a great week. So, until next time, everybody, have a good night, and remember that Abba loved you first. Shalom.
It's your glory, conceal the mystery. You give us the honor to search a matter. You raise up a standard to beat back our enemy. You establish this realm, and like a scroll you spread it out.